A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, as said by Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu. Almost 30 years ago, the 4th Global Women's Conference took place in Beijing, bringing together more than 50,000 women from all over the world. That meeting, which was later named the Beijing Conference, saw the birth of 12 commitments aimed at safeguarding women's rights in areas of economy, social and political spheres.
The 4th World Conference on Women must elicit commitments to action, coupled with commitments of resources. This is the mission in Beijing. No further analysis, but a deeper level of action.
I have been inspired especially by the women from the South, by the women from the developing countries, who against overwhelming odds have fought to change their lives.
But we cannot lose hope. Here in Beijing, in the midst of all of you, we feel that the sun shall rise. And so we join all of you, and we continue to hope that we shall share the solidarity that we have seen here this evening. May you have peace when you go home.
Tanzania, as a member state, adopted 4 of the resolutions and promised to work on them to improve the quality of life for women and girls, but also the community.
Katika kumalizia mkutano nilisema, a revolution has begun, there is no going back.
After the conference and the 12 resolutions, we agreed that the resolutions of the conference were not to be kept in locks. It was time to walk the talk. There is homework to be done, just like back in school days. We had work to do. Revolution has begun. There's no going back. I would say I was happy to go back home. I felt good. The conference ended on a high note, and I returned home. And in Tanzania, they set a special day to bring home the Beijing resolution. A forum to bring home Beijing conference was created, and President Mkapa was the guest of honor. He received the resolutions, and the Ministry of Community Development under Mama Mary Nagu picked 4 out of the 12 resolutions to start implementing with immediate effect. Such 4 were emphasis on girls' education, secondly, economic inclusion of women, women's involvement in decision-making at all levels, and 4th is peace.
Na kubadilisha nchi yetu. Moja, msisitizo uweko kwenye elimu ya wanawake. Ya pili, wanawake kuhusika katika uchumi ili waweze na wao kujitegemea kiuchumi.
Tanzania Media Women Association was among the attendees of the conference, and before Beijing, they had started to raise their voices on social injustice in the community.
Levina Mukata was a university student, and every day when they woke up in the morning, there was something written on the notice board. Bad illustrates. And worse enough, if female student was bright, challenging men brighter than them, she will suffer. That was the norm. And now, in the case of Levina Mukasa, she could not tolerate the harassment she received. Whatever she did, they punched her. At the end, she sought suicide. She had enough. She decided to end her life. Later on, female students at the university agreed that whatever Levina faced was sexual harassment. If a woman rejects you, accept it and move on. Why do you harass them shamelessly? That was the reason. I remember the late Leila Sheikh, Chemi Chimponda, and by the way, Chemi was there, and she was the one who wrote the story of Levina, and she was among TAMWA founding members.
For instance, I went to Nairobi. In that conference, our colleagues out of Africa came with different agenda from us. They came with issues of wife battery, sexual offenses. When we listened, we were surprised by that, not knowing that same was happening in our countries. We started to contemplate if we don't have it. So we decided to research about it. And we later discovered it was also happening in our country. As media women, we asked ourselves, are we not part of this? We also told our bosses about that. Our bosses in the media houses, of which most were men, and they were strict. It is not possible to bring such things to life because it's normal life. That brought something new into us. It awakened the need to upscale our talents, to be leaders in newsrooms, so that we can be on decision-making table. We started to empower ourselves in order to reach high ranks in newsrooms.
Kwa hiyo Beijing kule ndo kulikuwa na mambo mazito na kufanya mikakati ya nini sasa tunafanya baada ya kutoka kule.
But the aftermath of Beijing conference made them take the spotlight in advocating for women's and children's rights. Mama Eda Sanga recalls what prompted the campaign for SOSPA 1998.
Tulikuwa tayari tumeshaanza kuwasaidia wanawake ambao.
By that time, we had already started to help women who were facing gender-based violence in their homes. We rented a house in Magomeni, Msichoke Street. And every Friday, we went to listen to women's voices and different issues that women wanted us to listen and work on them. And luckily, we were not alone. We had teachers, lawyers, and other volunteers from the community who loved what we were doing. This made us reflect, because in meeting them every Friday, we were exposed to a lot of things, and some were really hard for us as women, and it really made us sad. And then we said, can't we do something about this? At first, finding a shelter and setting a day once a week was okay. But then we said we needed to do something else. Finding permanent shelter for these women who ran away from gender-based violence in order to make sure that they are okay. And later on, we reflected we needed something in the system that could care for the women and children's rights.
Amid confusion and almost division in the society, it was not easy to get all the support, for some people had different perspectives and mocked the campaign. But Dr. Ananilea Nkia, the then personnel in charge of the campaign contents, revealed tactics they used to keep on track and make sure their campaign wins.
Mfano sasa hiyo mwaka 97 tulikuwa tumefanya kazi kubwa kabla ya mwaka 98 ya kushawishi makundi mbalimbali katika jamii.
In the year 1997, we did a great job. And in 1998, we started persuading different groups in the community. For instance, we know in the media house, we have journalists, editors, and special programs reporters. So all of them, we had seminar with them because we already had research to show about sexual offenses, physical violence against girl children, boy child, also and women. So we showed that to them. We talked to them, if this is how the nation is, we cannot develop like this. And also the reason why we chose editors is that they have decisions. Example, putting editorials, also dispatching journalists to fetch for those news reports. So a lot of GBV and assault news stories were reported, and also there were people ready to witness on those accounts, both men and women who understood the danger we were facing.
The passing of SOSPA 1998 was important in that time in order to save the lives and dignity of those who were wronged. A gender reporter from Tanzania Standard newspaper and TAMWA member expressed the kind of reception they received from the MPs when they tabled the agenda.
At first, the parliament resisted the bill. They said it was against traditions, until Mama Eda Sanga stood and firmly told them if they don't pass, TAMWA will go to all constituency in the country and talk with other voters, and their representatives refused to safeguard women and children's rights. That hit them deeply, as most parliamentaries were men. They retreated and considered listening to our message. I also recall the late Bibi Titi Muhammad was also still in Parliament. She stood with us. She pledged to stand with TAMWA and volunteered to join us in campaigns in Mara region. She called us her children, and as victim of gender-based violence herself, she joined us in an entourage to Musoma, where GBV was at peak in that side. We also received a call from Mwalimu Nyerere. He invited us to Zanaki to talk to his tribesmen. He said we needed to help him because his people were very hard to empower women and mistreat them. With such support, some parliamentarians questioned the position, and hence many supported us at the end.
TAMWA, as the leading part in the movement against women and children abuse, used all tactics in order to make sure the act was passed under the emergency bill. But that was not easily achieved. Their path was not smooth. Mama Eda Sanga recalls how she and late Leila were summoned before into parliament and presented what they wanted.
Ilibidi mimi na Leila marehemu sasa, ambaye alikuwa ndio mkurugenzi, tukutane na aliyekuwa speaker.
On the morning of the decision day, we were called in by Speaker and Prime Minister. They summoned us, wanting to know why we decided to go to the parliament. Were we implying that the members of the parliament were perpetrators or part of those who created problems? We told them that we alone could not bring about change of policy or the law. We wanted support, and we thought members of parliament, being representatives of the people, the parliament was the right place to go. They agreed to give us space to talk in the session, and they asked us how we wanted it to be. We told them of our testimonies, poems, research, and reports from teachers, doctors, lawyers, etc. And finally, we would read our proposal. They rejected testimonies and agreed on the other things. After all that we've prepared was presented before the parliament, a huge discussion erupted with difficult and opposing motions. My colleagues said it was hard to control, and I was sent a ton of notes to end. And I said, because the matter was broadcasted live on national radio, let the voters hear their representatives.
6 months later, in April 1998, the impact of what TAMWA did at the Parliament Square was obtained. The emergency bill was passed by the Parliament and was waiting to be signed by the executive. The president signed it when it reached his office, hence the birth of Sexual Offences Special Provision Act of 1998. Mama Eda Sanga recalls the moment.
Feedback ambayo ilikuwa ni nzuri, ambayo hatukuitarajia.
We received feedback from internally and internationally. Friends asked us, What did you do to get the members of the parliament? Secondly, to get SOSPA, for it to be ready 6 months after your interaction with the parliament. What did you do? So we had to tell them the whole process, and also to speak about collaborations with other NGOs who were not part of TAMWA, how we presented it to them, how we sat with them and prepared the bill proposal together. And later on, the efforts brought us SOSPA. Everybody wanted to know, what did we do? How did we do it? How possible was it for us? It was not easy. What did you do to get it within short time? But honestly, it was because of collaborations, also shared vision, and effective competence and performance used in the process of taking this proposal to the parliament. As I told you, otherwise, this would have brought us problems. But because the minister knew, and our bosses, like Daily News had a great boss, Mr. Mapunda, he accepted us, but also Tanzania News Corporations, we had members. All our bosses knew what we were doing. Nobody was taken by surprise, and that helped a lot. And also, because we had a great debate with my boss, asking him to go live on the day of our proposal read to the parliament, and he agreed. The audience heard about it. It really helped a lot.